Hello and welcome to a scene for Hong Kong House of Cards. Today, Zhu is at the temple and is sitting at one of the shrines in contemplation.
Bosco will come lumbering in as is per usual, looking around and trying to see if there's anyone here he recognizes. Sadly, he doesn't, because enchanted bullshit.
And she's going to notice Bosco's entrance, give him a nod of acknowledgement.
Bosco will walk up to Zhu and ask, or say, "Hello, do I know you?"
Yes, we met near the wall.
I've not been to the wall yet.
You have?
When was this?
About a week ago? With Adam.
He'll kind of like look thoughtful for a second, like he's trying to calculate something in his head, and then he'll just kind of grumble Adam's name under his breath. I need to have a talk with that man later. Could you tell me what happened?
We went to investigate the source of the issues regarding the wall. We encountered trouble, and you arrived in time to assist with the fight.
Hmm. And how did the actual fight go? Is everyone okay?
The only one that ended up injured, aside from our enemies, was Adam. And he is fully healed now.
I am assuming I assisted with that. My people are pretty good about that.
You did help, yes.
He'll nod. Yes, I definitely need to talk to him later, because I've been missing a day, and that what you just told me corresponds with the amount of time I'm missing.
Do you know of enchantment?
No.
The changelings see things that we do not. And when they give you a portion of their power, then for a time you see it as well. But when it ends, it is as if you have woken from a dream, and the amount you remember varies depending on the individual.
He'll nod and just kind of say, that makes sense. About as much sense as anything else does around here.
She'll nod.
So, I do not know if I introduced myself properly. I am Bosco.
I'm Xiling. I am a wood mirror of the Henga Yokai.
A fellow shifter, yeah?
She nods.
And
I
at
am
that moment,
Ikaruo. Oh,
this fellow wearing a shirt walks in.
This fellow wearing a shirt.
what kind of describe the shirt? Bosco needs to know if he can judge him or not, based on his
Uh,
fashion
the,
sense.
the shirt's pretty simple, button down, almost dress shirt.
Okay. But yes, as I was saying, I am Ikaruo. I've been attempting to meet some more of our people around here. So far, I've only met you, Akorax, Guru, and Kamazot. I guess that was rather surprising.
Yes, Matthias is something of a surprise to many people. He has left the city in search of personal payment for debts long past.
An admirable goal.
Jesus just starts looking around the temple aimlessly. Or apparently aimlessly.
And you will stand because there's usually fairly few Westerners that come here that are not in some way related to the council. And despite the fact he's probably not entirely a Westerner, he is not Chinese. So.
Yep.
And she will walk over, bow and greeting, and say, "Is there something that can be done to help you?"
He looks at her and nods his head. Hi. I've been just looking around, exploring the city. I'm new here.
She'll nod. It is a beautiful temple.
It is. He'd look over at Bosco, give him a nod.
Bosco will nod back.
It's an interesting place.
So, is this your first time in Hong Kong?
Yes, I just arrived today.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
She's just going to nod an acknowledgement and walk back to where she was sitting before praying, because she has no clue if this guy is actually a shifter. So she's not going to start talking about things again.
Yeah.
She's going to go back to sitting in front of one of the shrines.
Just to make sure, give me 1 second. Whenever dice streamer will load up. There it goes. Since we're on the newcomer, 1 success.
No worm.
Okay.
Let's see here. Nope, doesn't know it.
So what brings you to Hong Kong?
Change of pace from where I'm from.
And you're from...
Africa.
Oh. Do you have a name?
I'm Quinn.
Bosco.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, sorry, Bosco. He has the normal stuff for the being around a city. That's it. Or actually, I think it's less than that because he's werewolf version of Lupine, but not the werewolf, the cat version of Lupine. I mean,
Yeah. He was born a cat.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what is it you do?
Yeah, a messenger of sorts, I suppose.
May I ask for who?
Between employers right now.
Fair enough.
Do you know anybody that might require a messenger?
I imagine the council could probably use one, but I do not know. You'd have to talk to them.
His eyebrow raises. Council.
Nah, they are kind of in charge around here.
Okay. He kind of looks over to. Do you know what he's talking about?
She'll look up. I do. It is something that some people of the city know about and some people do not. And this will be said with something of a glance at Bosco.
Some people know about it. Like
There are
what
many things
kind
that
of
some
people?
know about and others do not.
Like what kind of people?
What kind of people would know about anything? Those that know.
Okay.
And yes, she is being deliberately cryptic.
He got a success on intelligence and enigmas. You're being awfully cryptic.
She'll nod.
He looks around the temple.
By the way, the shrine she's sitting at is the one to Chang'e.
To what, sir?
To Chang'e.
Okay.
What is that?
It's the moon goddess.
Oh, okay.
That awkward moment when nobody quite knows if everybody else is in the know.
Yeah.
Yep.
The awkward moment when we all know it out of character, but can't do anything about it in character. Hmm.
He kind of goes back to slowly walking around the temple, looking at things.
Do you need you'll need help finding something? Perhaps we will be able to assist.
Just looking for a job.
A job in the temple.
Even temples need messengers from time to time.
This is true. Some more often than most.
Especially in a city with so many temples.
So, messenger of the temples. What do you know of this one?
Nothing.
And of the African temples?
I tried to avoid them.
Why is that?
Personal reasons.
So you avoid the temples in your homeland, and yet they are the first places that you seek out in a new homeland. Interesting.
What better way to learn about the history of a place like Hong Kong than to visit their temples?
This is true.
Is there any glyphs or such around the temple?
Are there any what? Sorry.
Glyphs.
I would assume that there might be some. Well, there are probably quite a few glyphs of various different kinds, but I doubt there's many Garou ones.
Actually, I'm looking. Well, I'd be looking for Garou, Bastet. Garou or Bastet, mostly.
Probably not, but there might be something similar, but not the same. You probably don't know what it means, but you can probably guess that it is a rune of some kind. It's just not Guru or Bastet.
He'd stop in front of it and start examining it thoroughly.
Something caught your eye?
Something that I thought looked familiar.
So it's actually probably quite near to the shrine to Chang'e. Which might raise your interest.
Close to where, sorry?
The shrine to Chang'e, the one that she was sitting at.
Oh, okay.
And despite probably not knowing much of the cultural significance, you can probably hazard a guess that she has something to do with the moon because of the iconography.
So what does this temple, suppose, what do they call it, worship?
There are many gods and goddesses represented here.
And which one is that one? And he'll point at the statue that Zhu is sitting at.
Chang'e, the woman who lives on the moon. She ate the pill of immortality, which was won by her husband, an archer, in order to prevent his enemies from stealing it from him.
Interesting.
She's close to the white-faced lady. And of course, the white-faced lady and the Emerald Mother hold significance with certain groups, as do many gods and goddesses with their followers. How is your occult? Or Shifter law or Hengo Yokai law?
I have some occult knowledge.
Do you want to roll intelligence occult?
Sure. Depends on the difficulty.
Whilst some of the Fera, including the Bastet, tend to prefer Helios over Luna, there are still a lot of links with Luna and Gaia in shifter culture.
Unfortunately, that doesn't help that much because there's the human beliefs too, which kind of mirror sometimes. So it starts to push them a little bit, but probably not enough to jump to the conclusion that you two are shifters.
No, but it might drop a hint, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not enough to confirm it,
Yeah.
but enough to drop a hint.
Yeah. You start looking around the temple a little more closely and stop slowly on anything that remotely looks like it might be related to Guru, Bastet, or some things that are similar.
There's probably not a great deal to do with them because this temple is, technically Kuei-Jin area.
Yeah.
But your eye will probably keep getting drawn back to that symbol and trying to figure out what it means because it's not Chinese. And it's tucked away where it's less likely to be seen, but will be seen by someone who's looking for it.
What's the gauntlet rating around here?
Gauntlet rating, I'll look it up.
Is it the Manmo Temple? Or the Wulong? Or the Lungmo, rather?
Because it's in the House of Cards setting thing.
I'm already on the page. What temple is it?
It's the one that the council is at.
They can't what?
It's the one that the council is at. Give me a sec, I'll see it.
Okay.
Because... Yes, yeah, so it's Manmo Temple. Gauntlet is 8. So the gauntlet is fairly high, but the wall is low, and it is a dragon nest. So you'll probably feel the energy in the place.
Yeah, he has a fetish that allows him to
quite
cross.
high.
He has a fetish that allows him to cross the gauntlet because Bastet normally can't without a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming with that fetish he can feel the gauntlet, the strength of the gauntlet around him.
Mm-hmm.
He'd actually reach out and run his finger across the symbol. Interesting.
And she's just going to be sat there watching him. At this point, given the awkwardness of the conversation and the fact that he's a messenger, so he's probably been in these situations before, he can probably guess that they are something.
Yeah.
But what is a different matter. And whether he'll be welcome or not is another matter altogether.
Yeah. And the shard of conversation that he may have heard on the way in.
Mm-hmm.
He actually sniffs at the air.
Bosco would raise an eyebrow at that.
The incense is pungent in here.
Do either of you have particularly high rage?
Bosco has 4.
Which I'm pretty sure is higher than Jew's.
It's a little bit higher than Quinn's, too.
Let's see, what is Jew's rage again? I don't think it's particularly high. I think it's a 3. Yeah. But I mean, if you want to try rolling Perception Primal Urge.
Okay.
Probably diff 8 to recognize the rage in the pair of them.
Yep.
They won't tell you what they are exactly, but
Probably picking up more from Bosco than you.
but it might give you a clue.
That pretty much would give him the needed clue because humans don't have rage. That I'm aware of. Kind of look over at Bosco.
Yes.
That's what you mean by certain people now.
Are there anybody else in the temple besides us 3?
There's probably 1 or 2 people, but you know, it's like churches. Attendance is getting lower.
Okay.
Might be 1 or 2 people, like I said, but the likelihood that they're kinfolk of some kind is fairly high, and also they're going about their own kind of things, and it's quite a large temple.
Mm-hmm.
So they can probably see us, but not necessarily hear us unless we start shouting.
And with 4 rage, the fact that they're not running, screaming away from Bosco might be a good hint that they might be kinfolk.
A lot of the Hindi yokai Batsu probably attend the temple.
Yeah, so he looks between them and he goes, that's what you mean by certain people.
So are you one of us then?
Yes. Well, I don't know what you are, but probably something similar.
You at least know of various things. He kind of looks around like...
Yes. I can sense it over you more specifically, but she's got a little bit on her too. And he'd look over at you.
I am calmer than he is. And more subtle in many ways.
It's a good way of putting it. Do you guys have somewhere more private to speak?
Bosco look at you.
And you will look at the other people that are in the temple. Wait for one of them to leave, but not the other one. She probably recognizes the other one. And then she will turn and quite directly say, "What are you? What are your loyalties, and what brings you to Hong Kong?"
My name is Jesus Steele. I am a Swara. As for the rest of it, I am Gaia. And I'm seeking a new home.
She'll nod, and then she'll head over to where the special candles are to open the door down to the council chamber. And gesture for the other two to head in front of her.
He would move, and as soon as he's out of eyesight of anything, he'll shift to his breed form, which is a white and black dotted cheetah.
Bosco will follow him down the stairs.
And you will make sure that the door is closed behind them. This is the council chamber. It is where the peoples of various houses of this city gather to discuss the things that concern us all.
The cheetah would nod its head.
The three of us are of the House of Swords, home to the Garu and the Hengeyokai, as well as any other pharaoh that happen to attend.
He'd nod.
The House of Staves is that of the Night Walkers, not of the East.
He kind of tilts his head, confused by that.
Those that feed upon blood.
The vampires.
After a moment, would nod his head.
The House of Staves. Oh, sorry, I just did the House of Staves. The House of Pentacles is where the magic users and those not represented elsewhere find their place. And the House of Cups is home to the Histien and the Changelings.
Looks even more confused now. If a cat could look even more confused.
The Kuei Jin do not have a house. This temple is part of their domain, and they maintain it and observe the council meetings, but do not hold position on the council unless elected to one by the other houses. This is all something that we prefer to keep quiet from the rest of the world.
Just nod its head.
There are many places that disapprove of working with others. We have learned from the War of Rage and the War of Tears that there are always those who choose to attempt to tear things apart, and there are always those who will decide that others working together is a threat to them. But as you were in the city, you are welcome to join us in the House of Swords.
He's going to try to shift up. Actually, he'll just spend a rage point and shift to Hamid. Thank you.
She'll smile. There are many of different kinds here, but I don't believe I have seen someone of your particular aspect.
Yeah.
It may be interesting to note, however, that one of the changelings takes the form of a mountain lion.
Mountain lion, mountain lion, mountain lion.
A cougar.
Oh, okay. Don't think I've run into any of those before.
You should avoid that one.
She
Why?
will raise an eyebrow.
He lies a lot.
Lies a lot.
And also does something to your sense of perception. It's just weird. And then you don't remember it later.
Then how do you know he does something to your perception?
Because I was missing a day, she told me about the process that does something similar, and they seem to co-align.
Okay.
It is part of the nature of changelings that they are seldom as straightforward as many would like them to be. Though I believe he does try to be so. And they see the world as we do not. This leads them to behave in unexpected ways at times.
Sounds like you're describing a crazy person.
Ah. Pretty accurate.
So that does make me think of a line from a certain cat in a certain story.
Looks at you completely confused.
The Cheshire Cat in the story of Alice in Wonderland. It is a good book. I would advise caution in dealing with the members of any of the houses, if I'm honest. But they are our allies.
For now.
So, what are you two?
I am Kitsune.
I am a girl.
Oh, what? He looks at both of you.
The
Bear.
Growl are the bear shifters, predominantly from the Americas, I believe. And the Kitsune are the youngest of the changing breeds.
I thought that was Korax.
Not according to our stories.
Then I'm sure according to their stories, you are not the youngest.
She'll shrug. The Korax were chosen to be Gaia's messengers. The Kitsune were chosen much later, and they asked what their purpose might be.
And?
It is less clear than most. But one day we shall have our freedom back, and we shall be the best at something. What that is something we must discover. But as much as the Korax are known to be curious, the Kitsune are known to think in unusual ways.
So, what's a Kitsune and what's a Korax?
The Korax are the raven shifters, and the Kitsune change into foxes.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
If you see a Kitsune with multiple tails, do please show them the respect that they have earned.
What's the significance of having more tails? And he looks back at his own rear.
Among the Kitsune, it is a signifier of rank, and possibly of age, although that is less reliable. We age more slowly with more tails, and as such, the more tails they have, the less reliable you can be of what age they are.
A female voice chuckles slightly and steps out of the... And a woman steps out of the shadows. She's currently dressed in an immaculate suit, and she says, and of course with rank comes power, does it not?
Often.
She says, oh, and where are my manners? I am Jutu Ling, Minister of the Devil Tigers of the Kuei-jin.
Ari, this is what Chase's looks like, except he has a shirt on. It looks like a button-down dress shirt.
Okay.
Bows slightly. I am Quinn, also known as Chases the Steel with the Swara.
Bosco will look at the newcomer and say, I am Bosco.
She'll nod a bit.
Juling wouldn't.
We haven't been formally introduced, Zhu. I've heard much about you.
She'll nod with a small smile.
She'll grin, a very predatory grin.
He looks over at Shu.
Chases the Steel is a new arrival to join the House of Swords.
I see. And she looks him up and looks him down and makes a quick check. She uses a power. You could do Perception Primal Urge to see what she's doing.
Okay. Nope.
Those are
That's a
D6s.
botch. Oh,
Those are D6s.
Really
that would not be very good.
Think we're playing Shadowrun here or something? Gee.
Yeah.
hey, wow.
That's better.
Okay, with that many successes, you can see exactly what she's doing. She's reading your soul like a book.
Rude.
And she looks you up, she looks you down, and she nods, and she says, "Ah, more of the Bastet. Interesting."
Interesting. You can read souls.
Well, of course. What good is being a devil if you can't read someone's soul?
Okay. Oh, I don't know if it goes in that depth area, but there's at least two semi-strength spirits attached to him. One literally attached to him, and the other in his presence.
No, it's not
Actually,
spirit sight. It's not spirit sight. Just it's obligation 1. She's reading. She's sort of reading your. What she can tell is what you are. She can possibly tell your nature and demeanor, and she can tell. If you are hostile or not in intention.
Oh, okay. Not.
Yeah. There you go. That's what that tells you.
Okay.
That's what that tells you in the level of successes she had.
Okay.
But she looks you over and she goes, "It's very interesting. You are aware that the head of your sept is a Bastet as well."
I was not aware of that. I haven't been to the sept. I don't know where the sept is.
Me neither, for that matter.
Oh, don't bother. Don't pay attention to me there, Zhu. I know where it is. Go ahead and tell them.
It is perhaps easiest if I show you, but it is in the park, and out of character I need to remember what the name of the park is.
It's in a nature preserve in Kowloon.
It is in Kowloon, in the nature preserve. The Garou have a sept right nearby.
Ah, okay. And don't worry. It took. She didn't. She hasn't had much time to tell us much of anything. We've been. It took us a while to figure out if we were the right kind of people to know about this stuff.
Well, just remember that this city is unusual, and that you will be asked to play along with some of your traditional enemies.
I have mentioned that.
Yes. Such as myself. We don't tend to get along that well.
I couldn't
I
say.
don't think I've ever run into Devil before, so I don't know if we would get along or not.
Well, I'll give you the rundown of it. I'm a Kuei-jin, and my calling in life is to be a devil. Because obviously, I crawled my way out of one of the 1,000 hells, so I must be a devil. So I try to be the best damn devil I can be.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll get along just fine. She grins and she starts walking away. Unless you stop her.
Nope. She's creepy.
Yes, she is.
Okay. That was weird.
I do not like that woman.
I don't know about liking. She's a little on the rapey side.
As I said, those of the other houses should always be dealt with a certain amount of respectful caution.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand that. So this sept. I'll go see it, or
It sounds like a good plan to me. I'd like to see it as well.
Sorry, I missed that bit. To see what?
They were asking to see the sept.
Ah, okay. Well, in that case, I think the three of them will probably be going on a road trip.
road
Woohoo,
trip.
road trip.
Oh,
Question
So
is,
there's a montage. They travel by map.
they travel by map.
Yes.
no. Literally, we climb on a map and it takes us there.
Yeah, it's a flying map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck your flying carpet. We got flying maps.
Yeah,
Exactly.
flying map is exactly like a flying carpet, except it's
It has a built-in GPS.
well, it has built-in GPS, and you can't take it in the rain.
All right.
It's well written.
So you can
shouldn't take
you
a
can
flying
pull.
cart in there either.
Yeah, there's visitor parking in the nature preserve because people go there and walk around all the time.
Mhm.
Is there valet parking? Do we toss the keys to the map somewhere?
You toss the Florida keys to the map and it eats them. Yum 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 yum.
Oh,
Somewhere off the coast of Florida, people go, "Where the heck did the keys come from?" Okay.
So we're going to probably go and see Lung.
Well, before you can see Lung, a pair of tigers run around and sniff at the collected party.
Mhm.
And
Chases will drop down to breed form,
yeah,
which is
And,
a white black dotted cheetah.
one of the tigers nods to the other one and runs off, and the remaining tiger says, "Greetings, I am Sunai."
The pleasure. I am Bosco.
Chases would bow slightly. Respond, I am Chases the Steel.
He sits up and he says, "I am regent of the Hengyokai for this sept and the city of Hong Kong."
Pleasure.
It is good that others have been arriving here. And it's good to see a fellow Bastet.
Bows his head to him.
Yes. We are far too solitary for my taste. And there are not very many of us in the city.
Slightly understandable.
But please, come. You must speak to Lung. Lung is our totem spirit, and he is quite personable this time of night.
Chases would just remain quiet and follow when everybody else starts moving.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunai is not leaving feline form. Just prowling through the grasses.
And
He's
you-
not making it hard to follow, though you've completely lost track of the other tiger by now, unless you've been paying attention.
Just follow behind everybody else.
Okay. So he leads you to a rock outcropping overlooking the ocean. And
Are we in the Umbra or in the real world?
no, we're in the real world.
Okay.
He leads you to this rock outcropping overlooking the ocean, and it's a dragon nest. You can feel the energy coming off of it. It's basically the equivalent of a Garukan.
Okay.
And as you approach this circle of stones, and the rock outcropping starts glowing, and slowly materializing in the air is a dragon. At least the front end of a dragon. Its rear legs are in the ocean down the cliff. Very big.
So in other words, we're not getting mooned by Lung.
No. Lung's rear end is in the water. Lung's front end is leaning on the cliff, just sort of looking at you. His head's about as tall as you are.
Chases would take a step back instinctively. It's like, what the holy shit?
Lung chuckles at that and says, "Don't be afraid. I'm just a spirit. I might be a dragon. I might be hungry, but I'm just a spirit."
I don't taste good.
Little stumps that used to be wings sort of flutter around.
Lung would know that somewhere nearby there's a totem spirit. The King of Cats is somewhere nearby.
But I see that you've brought your own totem.
Oh, he'd probably also know that Mangi the Death Bear is somewhere nearby too.
People keep bringing totems to my dragon nest.
It is part of following the totem, is it not? I mean, I am Garou, we all follow Bear.
Yes. And I suppose if we had a coyote, it would be following coyote. But this is my territory. And I expect your spirits to respect my sovereignty.
Well, I'm sure. I do not see why there would be any issue here. I am Bosco, and he'll bow to Lung.
I am Lung.
I am Chases the Steel, and he bow deeply.
Lung will nod and say, "Forgive me for not returning your bow."
It's understandable.
Merely nodding is about as averting my eyes as I can in this size. He lets out a laugh, and the world seems to shake.
I'm sure that's more than we could expect from one of your reference.
Oh,
Of course. I'm
You're
glad to see that you're showing me the proper respect.
Well, how could we not? You are clearly a great and powerful totem spirit. It would be
Of course. And he lets out a big laugh, and he says, "I like you. You can stay here."
May I?
Yes.
Thank you.
I like both of you. You are welcome to stay here and use my dragon nest.
Your hospitality is very much appreciated.
Agreed.
And he looks over at Ju, and he says, "I understand you have been granted a position in the city."
Yes, I have been granted the position of lovers.
He thinks a bit because it's not a position he'd recognize right away. Sanai clears his throat and explains, her job is to foster peace amongst everybody, and Lung just says, "So she's merely a diplomat?" And Sanai shrugs his feline shoulders and says, "You could say that."
Given the differences between the various houses and the council, there is very little merely about it convincing people to work together.
Lung thinks on that a bit and says, well, Fox always was the one to handle what nobody else could.
She'll bow at that.
And Lung will nod. And Lung will turn to Sunai and start speaking a language that you don't recognize, and Sunai will answer back. And this goes on for a minute or two before Sunai turns and says, I believe the spirit wishes to speak with me in private. I'm sure you have his leave.
Chase will bow his head and move off.
Moscow will nod and follow.
And she will also bow and ensure that the two manage to find their way back to where they can get a taxi again. But on the way, she'll see if there's anything else that they want to talk to her about.
So, look over at the other two. Why is there some kind of a council or something in here? What's the need? I mean,
Well, as I told you, there are the different houses, and we work together because there has been much lost from Niga's fighting in the past, and because there is much threat to all of us in our future.
really? What kind of threat?
There is a wall of Weaver energy to the north of the city.
There are
One
also,
which,
sorry,
Oh.
go ahead.
one which threatens to impact our ability to carry out our service of the Emerald Mother. It has greater impact on those of the other houses than it does on our own, but it is still something which poses danger to us. There have been attacks from there. There were Garou that were in the thrall of the Weaver, so much so that there was perhaps half of their body mass still as it was intended to be, the rest having been replaced by Weaver tech.
And Chase is a shiver.
I've heard of more attempts on the wall and more Weaver tainted enemies that act against them. There's a threat to our kinfolk. And if whatever force is behind this, which we believe to be the technocracy, a subsection of the mages, one which acts against the interest of the majority of the mages.
Okay.
If they continue unchecked, there is no reason they could not place another wall and another until they go there on the base of the Emerald Mother without running into it.
The technocracy seems to dislike a great number of us supernaturals. Just the other day, they came and attacked a bunch of us in Riker's bar. They were trying to get at him, and it did not end very well for them. Or for his bar, for that matter.
Okay.
Riker is a changeling young kinfolk.
Seems like I came here during interesting times.
Ah.
Interesting times may be cursed, but they were also where we are most. in the service of the Emerald Model.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take spend a rage apparently. Rolls don't like me today. And go up to Hamid.
Well, sorry for kind of hijacking stuff by bringing out my menagerie of NPCs.
No, that's cool.
That's okay.
That's cool.
You've missed your menagerie of NPCs.
I haven't gotten to interact with most of your menagerie.
Australian scene yesterday? How much better would that scene have been with Oy Vey?
Yeah.
That was a pretty awesome scene to begin with.
Can you just imagine Oy Vey talking with Kookaburra?
Yeah. Because Oy Vey is Oy Vey.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI for anyone who might not know, I decided to run Bat as a 50-year-old Jewish man.
'Cause what else could that possibly be?
Which seems to
Exactly.
be which seems to be more like a 50-year-old Jewish grandmother.
If it is true.
Yeah, it's. You want I should make you a nice mosquito knish?
Anyway. So is there anything else you want to throw into this scene?
Me personally, no. I was just figuring this. It just sounded like the scene was winding down.
Let's go to the wall. No.
I ain't got time.
You're not going to learn anything else by just bashing your heads against the wall, guys. I've given you big, giant, glaring hints as to how to deal with the wall.
Let's go deal with Glass Scorpion then.
I think we need a few more people for that.
I
We
know
haven't-
people one has enough wisdom not to go.
But we have Ari and his menagerie of NPCs to help us.
This is true.
The army of NPCs!
I'll just load them in a cannon and launch them at the scorpion.
Yeah, all of them.
I'm pretty sure the Bodhisattva is not going to appreciate being loaded into a cannon.
Bodhisattva's just gonna have to suck it up and deal with it.
But
Bigger things are at stake.
the Bodhisattva is about the right size.
That is true, and that's exactly why he won't appreciate it.
Before we continue with this random out of characterness, I'm going to push the stop button.
Okay.
Okay.